You're watching TVC Breakfast. Now, as the global economy continues to intensify its shifts from decades-long dependence on oil, some countries in the developing world that have depended on the resource as sole revenue earner now face the challenge of surviving without oil.
Well, in Nigeria, the demand to diversify the nation's exports is at an all-time high, with sectors such as tourism offering huge possibilities for foreign exchange. Edita Tele gives insights on how Nigeria can harness its tourism industry.
The richness and diversity of Nigeria's culture has always been cited as a strong reason why tourism should be a major foreign exchange earner for the country. From the east to the west, the north down to the south, the country is naturally endowed with rich tourist sites. And when it comes to festivals, Nigeria is not lacking. From the Osun-Osogbo Festival, Lagos and Calabar Carnivals, Eyo Festival, and the Dobar, almost every state in the country hosts one or two festivals yearly. Tourism experts have described the industry as an economic cash cow with a strong potential of contributing to the country's gross domestic product. The industry currently contributes 54 billion naira, that's about $1.5 billion to the economy. In 2017, the international tourist arrivals in Africa were 56 million people with a revenue of 17 trillion naira, that's about $47 billion. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the sector accounted for 34% of GDP and about 20% of the nation's employment creation in 2017. Nigeria is blessed with lots of tourist sites, from the Osun-Osogbo Grove, Obudukato Ranch, Yankari Game Reserve, and Ikogosi Waterfall. The list is inexhaustible, but many Nigerians do not even know such beautiful places as these exist in their country.
At first, you wouldn't think there are this many exciting places here. Yeah, but then when you travel, you realize that, yeah, there are a lot of fun places. So it's a very good experience to see the beauty of the country.
You really can't compare Nigeria to other popular African tourist destinations because tourism isn't really a major focus for Nigeria. The difference is like really clear, and where even our neighbors in Benin Republic are doing better in tourism as compared to Nigeria.
One travel company has made it a mandate to change this narrative. The company, established in 2015, is on a mission to reveal Nigeria's hidden natural treasures.
There is so much we can do when it comes to tourism, with nature, with our wildlife. We're just not harnessing it as much. But that story is beginning to change.
There's nothing that is as interesting as knowing your own country, you know, and being proud of what you have.
While Nigeria lags behind, other African countries like Rwanda, Kenya, the Gambia, Tanzania, and South Africa are blazing the trail. Edita Tele, TVC News.
All right, I have joining me now the CEO of Skyview Communications, Femi Lawson, in the studio. Femi, good morning.
Good morning.
It's really nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Now, when it comes to the issue of tourism, do Nigerians really have the culture of relaxing and having fun, really?
Okay. If you say, do Nigerians have the culture of relaxing? No, that's competitive.
Okay.
But for fun, you and I know that we are.
Oh yeah.
If I can use the word experts in having fun, so you can't rule that away from us here.
All right. Now the issue there is, when it comes to tourism, Nigeria has so many sites that are that are tourist sites, but one way or the other, they still remain in their crude form, where they're not developed over time and all of that, and that goes a long way to also tell what to project. Because when you look at videos and pictures of Nigerian tourist sites and all of that, they still don't compare to what you have in Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, and so on, and Rwanda.
Well, one thing that you must first understand is do we appreciate tourism? Now, it's one thing for you to appreciate your asset. It's another thing for you to want to make use of those assets.
So do Nigerians appreciate tourism?
Well, I would say Nigerians appreciate tourism, but the system does not know the value of tourism in terms of economic benefits.
When you say the system,
when I said the
leadership,
what is the system? The leadership needs to do more in terms of knowing the value tourism can bring to the Nigerian system, to the Nigerian nation. Now, we talk about unemployment, we talk about economic problem here and there, and we talk about even development, which tourism can aid these things. Now, tourism actually give about 10% of the world job.
All right, so what can we do to break that ice, to really get into tourism and harness harness all the benefits it has to offer?
We have to engage in tourism development in Nigeria. When I say development, it's what are these assets, identifying the assets that we have in terms of destination, in terms of different tourist assets that we have, entertainment, culture, food, and all that. We have to first identify those ones and set out how do we develop the site? How do we make the site marketable? Already there are a lot of young players in the industry that are willing to sell Nigerian destinations. But the difficulty is, does the host communities understand the value of visitors that are coming?
So it means we'll have a long way to go.
A very long way to go.
Femi Lawson, CEO, Skyview Communication, thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we have in the studio to talk to us Femi. I believe, yes, he's been standing with us to talk more on tourism in Nigeria. Now, the federal government has been looking at diversifying the economy and also to conserve foreign exchange. Does our tourism sector have that potential to, be that sector that we can rely on just like oil?
When you say does that sector has that potential, I would say the sector has more than that potential to retain foreign exchange in the country, create jobs, and better the country's economy in terms of creating jobs and investment opportunity and driving government revenue. If we pay attention to developing the tourism in Nigeria, but it has to start from the community. It has to start locally to grow into the international market.
When you say locally, how do you mean?
Okay. Tourism is an asset that grows from the local community. If you look at Nigeria, all the assets we have in terms of tourism belong to one community or the other. Now, when you look at that, it means that every community in Nigeria can have a feel of development if attention is paid to the asset that is in that community. Now, it means that there can be job creation in that community if attention is paid to developing that asset. It means that when there's job...
Who is supposed to pay the attention now?
No.
Is it the people? Because the people have tried to, keep or protect their heritage. Look at Olumorok and the other places.
Yeah, people will try, government will try, all hands need to be on deck to do this. And looking at it from when you say people are doing enough, yes, we as a company has a program coming up in April, tagged Tourism Development, TIDA, Tourism Innovation and Development Advantage, and it's tilted towards developing Nigerian tourism sector. Now, what are we trying to do? It's a kind of a conference where they're teaching people, talking to stakeholders in the industry, including government, to telling them what to do in this sector. Because taking a look at, when we say taking tourism to the community now it belongs to the people. How many communities know the value of the assets that they have?
So understanding the value is where the challenge is.
Exactly, understanding the value, understanding how to position this value, and understanding how to market this value.
Our previous guest talked about consciousness. Is it because we are not aware or we are not conscious of the fact that we can find value in this thing or in this sector? That's why we are not paying as much attention.
Basically, I would say we are not aware of the tourism benefits yet in this nation. Ironically, We travel. We all travel abroad.
Now that's where I'm headed
and
to, because if you look at the package that we played before we came to the we came to this interview. One of the respondents talked about that we cannot compare what it's obtained out there to Nigeria. Does this have to do with how we present our tourism?
Absolutely. I was going to ask you that same question, that you cannot compare. Why? Because our own tourism is still very virgin. We are not doing anything on this asset yet. I said something earlier on. I said tourism hates development. Now, when you're bringing traffic of people into a location, that demand of traffic will announce that location, and our interest will be focused, will go on that location. Let's take Lagos State, for example. Everybody talk about development and security in Lagos State now. What do you think is driving those things? What is aiding those things? So is security
one of the challenge?
Yeah. Well, security, yes. Security is one of the challenge globally. But if you look at the growth of tourism recently, 2017 has the highest at 7%. That's the highest since 2009 in the tourism industry globally. And you look at, okay, with all the security issues all over the place, all over the world, it's not just Nigeria, tourism is still growing.
Thank you. Thank you for speaking with us, because we have to end it there at this point. Thank you so much.
Thank you.